Well, that's a bozo no-no because
it ain't happening in 48 hours, so.
That stripe is so ugly. I probably could have done something better blindfolded.
Guys, ready to see these cars you're going to be working on for the next 48 hours?
Hell yeah! All right.
Would you please remove the covers?
Yeah! Right!
1972 Chevelles.
Introduced in 1964, the Chevelle was built on the GM A-body platform. It was extremely popular among NASCAR drivers after Cale Yarborough won 34 races and 2 national championships in his Chevelle Laguna.
When you first get in, you don't know where any of the tools are. Everything's scatterbrained. Everybody's running around. And like me, I don't know anything about the engine, so I'm doing what I can to help. But, you know, I'm just trying to extra set of hands, I guess, or whatever they need.
Here, cut the lines, I'll do that.
And those extra set of hands pay off as the blue team is the first to take off their hood.
I'll find it for you. How we looking, guys? We still on that fuel pump?
We had problems with the headers hitting. We had a broken motor mount bolt.
Where's that razor knife? Somebody right there?
It was just it was a nightmare.
Full trolley.
All right.
SPG Customs makes up for lost time and is now ready to pull their engine.
Who's under there? Dave, you under there?
Look at the top. Right here.
Over on the blue side, lead tech Brad discusses the design plan with his team.
There's certain things that are going to win this contest and certain things that aren't. Do you guys want to win?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. So do I. What's the theme? What theme do you guys want to go for?
In the design meeting, the guys decided to go with a classic American muscle car look. Problem is that Steve, the team leader, man, he's really not taking charge of these guys. And they need a leader. Steve needs to be that guy.
We're racing that clock as much as we are the red team. But the main thing is we've got one judge to please, and that's Jimmy. There's some things that we got to hit on. We got to have a good paint job. It's got to be something that's you know, going to be very well thought out, very well laid out, and a good clean paint job. Next thing is performance. We got that small block. It's actually good because they're going to have to deal with swapping from a small block to a big block. That means different coil springs, different engine mounts, and so we've got an advantage there because we're not converting everything. Then we got handling. So we're gonna do as much as we can with handling on this car. From 50 feet, this thing should look badass, should have a nose down attitude, but not scrubbing the front tires. So our performance is our transmission. It's a straight swap. We wanna make sure that our biggest part is gonna be if we're gonna move over to a floor shifter. Once that motor's getting hooked up and some things are going, then we can start on the front suspension and getting, you know, the coil switched over, the brakes put on, all that. Let me help you and we'll win this thing, okay?
We weren't really so much running around as much. We'd try to pace ourselves, you know, keep it like a marathon.
But the blue team's slow and steady pace is causing them to fall further behind.
We're caught on something, guys. Hold on.
With 5 hours already gone on the clock, they're still struggling to get their old engine out.
We're dropping the transmission because we were having problems getting it high enough to get it out from the radiator core. This one is causing us a few fits, but we're gonna have it out and then we'll be moving ahead.
See if we can twist it a little bit. Now try and go up, bud. Oh, hang on, watch the hood.
While Street Customs and Restoration finishes dropping in their engine, SPG Customs begins to prep theirs.
The team has their 383 stroker motor, and you can see they've already bolted their transmission converter to the flex plate. Well, that's a bozo no-no, because there's no way to mate the transmission to the motor because the converter actually needs to be clocked and phased at 2 different points to seat properly on the pump. Without doing that, you will destroy the transmission.
Putting the transmission together, putting the motor together, getting ready to go in. I mean, I wasn't really even paying attention to what I was doing. You're trying to rush and do so many things. You're not sleeping, you know, you're just out of your mind.
Okay, what I just noticed the team from Pennsylvania doing was actually bolting their torque converter. That's this object right here that looks like a giant green apple. This actually needs to go in the transmission first. If you try and put it on the motor, there's no way to align this. Here's your input shaft. As you can see, you've got 2 different shafts here. You have to align one first and then the other. It's a simple procedure, but if you don't know how to do it, it can be kind of catastrophic. So I'm going to demonstrate exactly how this is done. Here's your converter. You actually place it on your transmission input shaft, slide it on, rotate, There's the first click. So we're on the first set of splines. And you can see, even out here where it's nice and accessible, it's still kind of difficult to do. So to do it in the car, it'd be damn near impossible.
Did you put a quart of oil in the...
No, I didn't.
Right as we were like getting ready to possibly mount it up, Brad came over and said, hey, you know, did you put a quart of oil in that?
That's the problem. If you put it together this way, you're gonna fuck up the pump. We are really lucky. If I hadn't asked them about putting the quart of oil in the torque converter, I would have never caught that mistake. It would have been over for all of us. We're almost ready to put a motor in. Everybody's feeling a little bit of pressure. We're running a little bit behind. I told the guys, I said, we've got to pick up the momentum a little bit. And I think they responded well to that. They realized that there's a little bit of pressure on.
Somebody keep a hand on the motor, too. You got the tail shaft over?
Yeah, I got it. See, the fuel pump's good. We are so close.
SPG Customs has failed to fire up their engine, causing them to fall even further behind.
Try bumping it.
Nothing. We want to get the car fired up, which we're well on our way to doing that right now.
What about this over here?
The wiring was definitely a big joke in that car. Whoever did it, it was downright dangerous.
Put this hunk of junk back in and cross our fingers.
I think we don't have a choice. They had gone to an aftermarket wire loom. It didn't have the right wires to power up the chassis. We went back to the stock wire loom. We thought we had a brand new loom that was going to save us time. It ended up costing us about 2.5 hours.
With the proper wiring harness in place, SPG Customs is ready to fire up their engine.
Okay, give it a try. Good.
Yeah! With their engine in place, the blue team, SPG Customs, finally moved their car into paint 2 hours after the red team.
Where'd he go?
While the blue team's car dries in the paint booth, Brad discovers a game-changing mistake.
Never seen something so bad. That stripe is so ugly. I probably could have done something better blindfolded.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Can I see you for 1 sec?
Yeah.
I got a question about the paint here.
What's that?
Did you look at his stripe?
Yeah, I looked at it.
Well, it's not even straight. It's gonna murder us.
These pinstripes definitely aren't my best work. And I probably shouldn't have tried to pull lines when I was half asleep and shaking.
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, it's not like the paint's falling off the car. It's a good color combination. You know, if they wanted a show-stopping custom, it ain't happening in 48 hours, so.
We discussed it for probably, we discussed it a lot.
Tyler, if you stand back and look at that thing 15 feet, it's fine.
We were definitely back and forth for a while.
Okay, any input?
Don't matter.
You can only make them look so good in 48 hours.
He's the team leader. It's up to him.
After spending valuable time on deciding what to do about the uneven stripe, Steve finally informs Brad on their plan.
I think we're just gonna leave the paint the way it is. There's so much more left to do.
Okay. I think it's a mistake, but that's your choice. That's your competition over there. Your car blows it away, but your stripe right now is gonna make you lose.
I wanted to change it because I didn't want it to lose because of what I did and it all come back on me.
Do you think that we could get away with just making what he already has there just a little bit wider?
If you want to do that, that would be fine. I mean, you know, just lay it like that.
Right. You know, we can't leave it like this.
Anything is better.
Definitely has to be fixed.
The new design looks a little better. That's going to have a little bit more character down the side. It's a little fatter stripe and kind of flows with the lines of the car.
Here it is, almost the end of the competition, and they're going back into the paint booth. It's over.
Huge difference, guys. Your silver just is making a statement against that blue field, and it looks good.
And now begin their final assembly. With the blue team finally out of paint, they're closing the gap. Back in the action with only 2 hours remaining in the competition, SPG Customs begins the final assembly of their car.
16 minutes left on the clock.
Go ahead and shut it down. No, we just got to adjust that. It's an adjustment now. Hey, hell of an effort, hell of a car.
All right, that's it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Tools down. Tools down and step away from the cars, please.
All right.
I think that we put out a complete car. We hit all our goals. Everything that we set out to accomplish, we achieved it. Our car stands right up there with the rest of the cars that have ever came out of Carwork.
First up, Philadelphia's SPG Customs.
Hey, there's nothing in there. That actually makes me kind of happy. I want the inside of the car done first. Far out, they listened. Man, am I glad that they changed that paint. That stripe they had on here, the pinstripe was, I hate to say it, but horrible. It could have been a little tighter. They got some puckers in them. I'd expect to have carpet on the transmission tunnel. I would expect to have the shifter be fully welded. The gauge tops are exposed up here. It's almost there. It's about 80%. When they got this engine and it was yellow, that motor was so beautiful. I mean, I think I would have incorporated my paint scheme to follow the motor. That was just a gift. That was just an absolute gift. It all looks really clean. It's really tidy. Here's some custom mounts here that hold the radiator in. They actually painted inside the hood. Block-off plates on the firewall where the heater core was. Really like these hood hinges. Nice details. Time for a little non-destructive testing.
For the performance test, Jimmy Shine will put the cars through a set of rigorous driving maneuvers, taking both vehicles through a slalom and drag strip.
Well, that was a great test. Kind of handled like a stock car. The tires did a great job. Going through the slalom, it steered really good. I'll take it home. I like it.
The road test is over, and it's time to judge SPG Customs' blue Chevelle.
Judgment Day is here. I love this blue paint job. I like this silver stripe. There was another silver stripe that was on here first, and you guys sorted it out, got the car back in paint. That was the best decision anybody made that day. Unique approach. My grandmother used to have a seat like this in her house. You know, you did a nice job recovering it. Too bad you didn't have more time to maybe use a different foam. You didn't pull any of the blue into the interior. It'd be kind of nice to kind of tie that all together. You pop the hood, that's kind of like the diamond in the goat's ass. And you got this beautiful yellow motor. You guys didn't like the yellow, so you got rid of it. Well, almost all of it. I would have looked around and found like maybe a black set of plug wires, maybe a blue set. You still got your yellow in there. All things said, this is the car I could see me driving. This car says Jimmy.